Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's press conference. The Bulldogs will close out their home season on Saturday with homecoming against Wofford at 2 o'clock. Here to talk about the Bulldogs head coach, Brent Thompson.
Thank you, John. All right, once again here, it's kind of the same thing as last week, and I think Jeff even put it in his article this week. Is just continuing to find new ways to lose football games instead of finding ways to win games, and unfortunately, that's kind of the track that we're in right now until we get ourselves out of it. But we had the punt return for a touchdown, 2 fumbles in the red zone, and then 1 turnover on downs on the 30-yard line. So all of those really is what kind of led to our downfall this year or this week. So a couple things that we've got to correct there. A couple of the positive things that I did notice on film and talking to the staff is we've had to, due to some injury and due to some other unforeseen circumstances, we've had to play some younger guys in there. Without Anthony Britton being in there, or without Willie being in there, it's about 200 tackles in there. But Kyler Estes has stepped up. I thought he played fairly well in there. We moved a safety back down in there, Andy Davis, to play the linebacker position to cover up for the linebacker that we're missing. And then Jamazion's been playing the third in there, and Jamazin, being a true freshman, has done a good job in there. So there are some highlights in there. We did play fairly well on defense at times. Gave up a little bit more in the run game than we normally would. But I thought we did a pretty good job against the pass there. So some positives on the defensive side I think that we can build upon. And we still have some young guys in the back end playing at Don Poole, playing fairly well back there for us. And A.J. Trailer had to step in and play a little bit back there for us. And so Wilson Hendricks still being a sophomore back there. So there's still some young guys back there that are doing a really good job there. Offensively, what's getting us, I think, was the one thing that I noticed is there's certain drives, and it's been like this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that you look like the offense that you're supposed to look. We're playing with good speed, good execution out there. We're playing fairly fast, physical on offense, and then there's times out there we look like we don't know what we're doing. We're jumping off sides. We're not playing with quite enough speed. We're hunting and pecking in the holes a little bit. We just miss a fit or miss a check, and the next thing you know is it just sets us way far behind. So we still got some areas of improvement on offense, but there are some hope there. There is some hope there. We had the ball for quite a bit of time. We had a 22-play drive and a 15-play drive. Unfortunately, the 15-play drive we just didn't convert like we did on the 22-play drive. So some things that we can build on, some things to stay positive about. I think we're heading in the right direction. There's just unfortunate that we're having to play some younger guys there. So this week we do expect to have J.B. Lewis back starting at the left guard spot, and Anthony Britton starting back at linebacker here. Hopefully he's just got to clear one more thing, and we'll find out tomorrow. But it looks like he's trending that way for us. Questions?
Coach, it looks like Willie's career is over at the Citadel. What has he meant to Citadel football?
Well, there's a lot of things that Willie has meant to. Willie's an All-American, number one, and I was waiting to put him up on the wall, hoping that he would get one more All-American. I know the last 2 years he's battled injury, and he's he has been what everything that is Citadel football should be about. He's a guy that came here under-recruited, probably developed himself into an outstanding linebacker. As I said, he really played mostly running back in high school, but built himself into a phenomenal linebacker here, a guy that a lot of guys look up to. He's a very, very quiet, unassuming guy, but when he plays football, he plays with passion, he plays with emotion, and certainly a guy that we do miss out there, and we've missed him for the last few games, and then, of course, most of last year as well.
Coach, with it being homecoming and everything, and just everything that's going on with this team the last month, I know you're playing some of these younger guys who kind of by default, but is there an evaluation process going into this final game?
Well, I tell you what, there's an evaluation process going on every single day out there, just to look and search for answers. And I think I found some really is when Ryan McCarthy was out with an injury, we've got all of a sudden Tyler Cherry comes out of nowhere. And Tyler is making a lot of catches out there. He's making some really good catches out there. I didn't even think he was going to get the ball thrown to him on the first play from scrimmage. Makes a 35-yard reception out there and just got great concentration. Only a redshirt freshman. Played very little for us, but gives me some comfort there. Javante Graves-Billups, he's a guy that comes in. I thought we were going to be able to play him a little bit more the week before because this is in that 4-game stretch that we talked about a couple weeks ago. I made it more of a point of emphasis this week to get him ready to go. And sure enough, he's got some speed. He's got some explosion out there, so I'm happy with him. Zach Blanchard's a sophomore starting at guard for us. A little bit more speed of the game, but he's a strong guy. He's a guy that can do it for us. And then Bryson Jones on the left guard spot. He's another guy that's played a lot for us. Really had to play more this week with JB being out. So there are a lot of guys in key positions that we are constantly evaluating. And then on the defensive side, we've been having to play some younger guys just because of guys in and out of the lineup.
Tell us a little bit more about Jay Graves Phillips. He came late.
Yeah, he was
Army.
correct. He was originally committed to Army. I got the feeling he called us up and said that he was looking for some other options, maybe wanted to stay closer to home. Dad had a connection to the area. I believe that Dad was at one time was stationed here in Charleston, knew the area, knew the school really well, had a great conversation. It was just one of those things when you have a COVID year and you're trying to recruit a young man from Mobile who's never really been to school here and you're just trying to tell him all about it. Came here with a little bit of a leap of faith. He's worked his butt off. I think he does a great job in the Corps. He does a good job with his academics, and he's a guy that's been very close to playing. I've been trying to hold on as long as I have because we do have some older A-backs there without trying to burn his red shirt. So we're to that point. He's to the point where he can play for us, and he's a pretty explosive back. We've even tried to get him in on the kickoff returns.
And then tell us a little bit about Jamaica Roberts, 6'2", 240, something like that.
Yeah, Jamaican, he's another one that came to us by way of a recommendation. Somebody called us up. He's from almost right around where Macon is, right in central Georgia. Not an area that we would be able to get to, especially in COVID. Not a smaller school, a school that we probably wouldn't, it would have flown underneath our radar due to where it was and, the level of ball that they play. But the more and more that we watched him, the more that we thought he could do a lot of different things for us. He's a big guy. He's going to develop into a really, really good player. He was another one I wish, if we didn't have such injuries at linebacker, I really wish we could have redshirted him, and we tried to hang on as long as we could with him. But he's a guy that we just couldn't keep him off the field, and he's going to develop into a good player.
And then Tyler Cherry, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Tyler didn't play the spring with us and came back here in the fall, came back in really good shape. A young man out of Wren, out of the upstate. Was happy to get him. I think he's got great concentration, great ball skills. The only thing that we really need to kind of concentrate and focus on is maybe just a little bit point of attack blocking to the point where Ryan and Raleigh are right now, but that takes time and the weight room.
What's the dynamic like this late in the year? Two teams that have struggled and haven't had the success they've been used to. Which team is still engaged, or how do you look at it?
Probably so. Which team is still engaged? But both teams should be looking for a win and hunting for a win and hungry for a win. As I look and I've watched them previous weeks, just because we followed them quite a bit on offense, looking for a different identity on offense, and that's probably more trying to gear their personnel to it. Do they still have some really good players? Yeah, the two running backs are as good as it gets in this league. Aside from the young man from ETSU, I think those two guys are probably the next best, maybe even the best 1-2 combination in the league. I'd love to have them. I think that's what it is on offense. The quarterback's been a little bit of a rotation issue for them there. So they're just looking to probably build their roster with some more tight ends, some bigger offensive linemen, or some offensive linemen geared towards what they do. And then a quarterback that's got to develop into what they do. Defensively, I think they've got good personnel. I think they've got linebackers that have been there for a while. They've got some Joe Beckett. We recruited Joe. He's a good, tough player. They've got some up-front guys that they've brought in to replace some of the guys that they were missing last year in the spring. So I think they've done a good job of replacing those guys. I think they're pretty good on defense. What we need to do is we need to get them off the field on offense, and we need to find a way to take better care of the football on our side of the ball and score points. It's been kind of the thing that's gotten us the last 2 weeks is 7 points and 14 points, but you have opportunity to put points on the board, and really the last 3 or 4 games, and you don't. You got to execute better.
What does Willie's immediate future look like? Is he going to be able to hang out at the Citadel and rehab?
Absolutely, yeah.
Ready for NFL tryout?
Had his surgery last week. Everything went well. It was a pretty straightforward surgery, as I understand it. We'll get him rehabbed up, and Ideally, what we would like to do is get him to the point where we can get him to a junior day or somebody's junior day or our junior day. Everybody knows about him. We've had plenty of teams come in and ask about he and Raleigh both. So I think we'll give him an opportunity to at least have a free agent tryout, hopefully. All right, thank you, guys.